Hey there, introverts and deep thinkers. Welcome to Introverts Unmuted, the podcast where we prove that quiet doesn't mean invisible and deep thoughts deserve a mic. If you've ever felt drained by small talk, mastered the art of sneaking out of the room, or wished the world understood the magic of solitude, this is your space. We're diving into everything from navigating social energy to embracing creativity, confidence, and the unique power of being an introvert. So get comfy, plug in, and let's turn up the volume on our quiet confidence. I'm Amber Hansel, and this is Introverts Unmuted. Today, I have with me Jen. How is it going today?
Pretty good. How are you, Amber?
I'm good. So, Jen, tell me a bit about what you do in this marketing space.
Absolutely. So I left a corporate job about, I'd say 12 years ago or so. And I've done a whole bunch of small businesses ever since I left corporate. And when I was working in corporate offices, I was actually working in marketing and communication departments. I worked at Adobe on the Creative Suite and at Motorola, and I was sort of doing developer relations, instructional design, all that kind of thing. So I was in marketing departments. So it was sort of something I was around. And then when I left, I ended up doing a bunch of small businesses, everything in pure neurodivergent fashion. I'm really into dogs. So I was doing a bunch of dog things. And then it was, I'm going to learn how to sew. So I started a whole dog collar business until I couldn't sew anymore and had to make some choices. And then dance fitness came around. And so I did that until the start of the pandemic. And so all of those involved marketing. I had to sort of figure out what was right for the audience and all that kind of thing. And now I'm doing podcasting and improv and marketing, those sort of things. So that's sort of what I've been doing all over the place.
I love it that it's like so many different passions. And I think that's something that we all relate to is we have so many different passions that can help us within the marketing space.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I want to hear more about improv because as an introvert, that just like no go. Like, no way would I be doing improv in front of people. Like trying to make things up on the spot.
Exactly. I know it seems like the most terrifying thing. And I really was too. But so how it sort of started was I think the dance fitness made a huge difference because I was teaching those classes. So I was up on stages under the big lights with a microphone strapped to my face. And it is improv. You don't think it's performance. You don't think it's a character. In fact, I had a friend who came to my class who was an actor, and she did drama. She did all the stuff. And she told me, that's not really you up on stage. And I was flabbergasted. I did not understand what she was talking about. I'm like, no, it's me. Well, no, you're performing. I'm like, well, no, it's me. That's just me. So I didn't, but she was right. She was completely correct about that. It was a character. It was performing. So that was sort of how it started. I got into that, supporting other friends. I went to the instructor workshop. Did not think I'd ever do it. I thought there's no way I'm going to go up on stage in front of other people and dance. I have 2 left feet. Why would I go do that? Why was I even taking dance classes in the first place? Like it was this bizarre thing, but I fell in love hard right away, being in front of other people because, and gets us back to improv, because there are rules of being in that space. You go into that space and there's like this kind of set rule of how you socialize, how you integrate in that room. I discovered really quickly I was way more comfortable on stage than off it, because off it, it's chaos, really. You have to engage with other people and figure out the social situation. What do they want? And all this. But as soon as I go on stage, there's rules, there's structure. I know exactly what to do. So I knew from dance fitness that I was more comfortable on stage. I also got into community theater, vaudeville, burlesque comedy before improv, and I was way more comfortable on stage than behind it. And so then when I discovered you could learn improv in the middle of nowhere, I went for it, and it was the same kind of thing. And eventually, after a number of months, I figured out my brain worked the same way in dance fitness as it does in improv. And improv, same structure, rules, there's a way to be. And the biggest thing for neurodivergent people is that improv, everybody sort of agrees with your reality. So if the miscommunication is less of a thing because we spell out way more about what we're talking about, much less subtext to try to understand from other people. And if I am saying that I'm feeling this way, they have to yes and that. They have to agree with what I say and what so we work together. And it's such this thing that you build together with other people, which doesn't happen outside of the stage, because we're constantly wondering, what do they mean? What's that look about? And you can just say it in improv and it's correct. And that's beautiful. And I love it. So
I love that, because the really thing that I picked up on while you're talking was the structure and rules. And I'm like, oh, okay, that to me would be like, okay, because the online space is absolute chaos. There are no rules. There is no structure. So how do you create the structure and rules within your own business to market, taking what you know from improv and running so many other things?
Right. I think I'm probably still looking for rules and structure in that. So I watch a lot of YouTube videos and read a lot about algorithms and watch intensely about what are other people doing and how can I be creative within that structure. And I think that there's a lot of creativity in structure. There's a lot of creativity within rules. And I think I even enjoy it a little bit more when we can market our podcasts this way. And like for podcasts, it's very difficult to market them, as I'm sure that you're aware. You might, maybe not, but it can be tough sometimes with an audio format, especially audio dramas. I find very challenging to market. And there's what other people are doing, but you look at it and go, well, could I try something a little bit different? And I think I like that creativity of taking what other people say about algorithms and sort of positioning and all that. And what can I try that's maybe 10% different or 50% different and see just how it goes. And I think doing that is a lot of fun, but it also can be hard because you can question yourself and go, what are other people thinking about this wild thing that I just put online? You know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think we get so much in our heads and go, yeah, I want to show up maybe differently than this person, but like, what are they going to think about it?
Yeah.
And I know the less that we can be in our heads about it, which is really hard as an introvert that likes to self-reflect and go deep into things and go, no, I'm just going to do it this way.
Yes. Yeah. And I think
put it out there and go, well, that's out there.
That's out there now. Yeah. I think it's that sort of letting go, which is not natural for me at all. Letting go and saying, you know what, there is so much online that this is just going to be buried or not watched anyways. So why not just try something new and see how it goes for science and sort of let go that way.
Yeah, and go, okay, this is an experiment, you know. It's my husband and I joke, it's like the experiment of life. I'm just going to try it and see what happens. And it either is going to work or it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, then you can analyze it and figure out, okay, maybe I'm going to do this differently.
Yeah. Or this one got this many more views or this much more average time duration. And this is maybe what maybe people like this. And for me, I guess wrong most of the time. I'm always guessing wrong. So that's why I just put it all online and see what people think, you know. I'm the autistic one, right? I'm probably not going to be the statistical dominant idea of what's funny. So I'll let them choose.
Yeah, I know. I always guess wrong too. I have no idea. And I just create and I'm like, well, I'm just going to put it out there and then I'll just create again and keep creating and seeing until my brain says, no more creating. You need a break.
Yes. We are burnt out for now. Listen to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And I
Yeah.
think too, within that structure and rules, we can really like start identifying, okay, this is how we need to work and create and put it out there and maybe let a little bit go and then so that we don't get burnt out. Okay, this is the cycle of like, no, we're not going to enter that.
Yeah. 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 Because burnout is a hard one to crawl out of once you get there.
It is. And I think so many people have experienced that and have either are crawling out or, you know, maybe they're not yet or they're almost there. So what are ways when you are almost at burnout or recognize that maybe you're going that way? What are things to help you keep mentally balanced?
Right. So I was in burnout until last fall, and it's an odd way that I got out of it, and I'll talk about that. But the dance fitness was what kept me in mental balance. Absolutely, without question. I mean, it was the best thing that I think I ever did for my brain was going to classes, but especially teaching them, because teaching them uses so much more of your brain in a certain way that I found that it balanced me, and I'd have complete balance for a couple days, and then I could feel I need to, oh good, there's another class on my schedule, okay, let's go, and I'll feel better again. So that worked, but of course that wasn't an option as soon as the pandemic started. So that was out, and I've sort of been searching for a bit of that, but I did get into sort of burnout / depression for quite a while until about last fall. I got out of it through just life throwing me a whole great big wrench. My mom got sick pretty intensely, so that got me out of burnout, which was an odd thing to get you out of burnout, but it was like it gave me another thing to focus on other than myself, which that external thing. And then I combined it with, how about I try creativity? What if I tried creativity to get out of this sort of thing? So that's when I started one of my audio dramas, because I wrote it. And the focus on sort of writing that, and I wrote it about depression. It was about mental health, burnout, depression of the main character. It wasn't my story, but that was the similarity and the inspiration. So that, I think that creativity and that sort of focus really helped sort of move me out of that, and it's been okay since. So almost a year. So yay.
Good.
Yeah.
That's so good to hear. And I think creativity can come in so many different forms, and we forget that there are so many different forms.
Yes.
You know, I got back into coloring, you know, which I, as a kid, hated coloring. But now, as an adult, I'm like, yeah, I'll color with you. I'm like, let's do it. And I found that I really liked baking sourdough and baking other things and really focusing, because I think there's a focus within that creativity.
Yes, yeah. And anything that uses your body too, like your baking, it's a very physical act. Coloring's a physical act. It has the repetition with it as well. And I think those things can help a lot. Music is wonderful. Music's a big one for me as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think once we find and coordinate, you know, our physical with our mental, it's so important, you know, going for walks with the puppies and getting all of that really creates a different environment for us.
Yes, it does. Yeah. Walking is wonderful. Dog walking is wonderful specifically.
Yes. Yeah. We have a puppy that is new to us in the last couple months. So it's been
a lot. I do too. Just adopted, I guess, 2 months ago now, and she's a handful.
Yes, they're handfuls, but something that I think I realized I didn't know I needed. You know, we had a dog a while ago, but it was my husband's, you know, like he had it before we had got together, and then, you know, he passed away. And then we were like, are we getting another one? We waited a couple of years. it happened and I was like, I don't think I'm ready. I'm not ready. I was like having a full-blown anxiety attack bringing the dog home. Like everything was so much. And then her and I bonded.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it was just like, okay, this is, I actually do need this.
Yes. Yeah. It's funny how grief works. I've tried it. Well, with my dog deaths, where we went to an empty house, both times we ended up adopting another rescue dog within 1 week. And this time it was 6 days. It was 6 days. It's a very, I guess, a challenging way of approaching it, but it did work. So luckily it worked.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's such a different experience when we get to, you know, say, yeah, I'm going to do this, even though we know it's going to be a lot and overwhelm us and overstimulate us. But it's we get to manage our emotions differently and learn to go, okay, how does this fit in to what we're already doing?
Yeah, it's and also just that, I mean, I guess that goes back to letting go again. Letting go of, I don't know how this is going to work out. I'm not going to try to control this thing that I desperately want to control. Okay, let go. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that is so important with marketing our business, is to learn to let it go. You know, the aspects in our life and in our business is that we have to let it go, even though we don't want to. You know, it's our baby. Oh my goodness. Like, you know, my oldest is now 10 and he's like, I've been with you for a decade. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And now it's like a stage of letting him go and doing more things.
Yeah.
Not my baby.
Yeah, I know. Becoming an independent human with all those thoughts and needs. But I think it's really good. I mean, I think getting into the dance fitness thing, which I keep bringing back, but it was such a huge pivotal part of my life. I mean, that speaks to the letting go a lot. And I think it's influenced a lot of me being able to do that, because if I listened to my brain, I would have never done that. I would have never thought that I could get up on a stage and dance in a million years, or that I would enjoy it so much. And here, that was one of the biggest changes of my life, and the thing that I absolutely love the most. So it's, you can, sometimes it is just see how it goes, give it an honest chance. If it doesn't work, you don't have to keep doing it. If it does, hey, you might just find this thing that you absolutely adore.
Yeah. And I think as introverts and neurodivergents, it's so important to like try things and really ignore our brain at times and just go do it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, really understanding the analysis and self-reflection after, even if it is working. Okay, why is it working?
Yeah. 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 And I think that analysis, like that analysis of why did that thing happen, which is one of the things I love most about the autistic brain part, that I think it is probably a little bit more unique to that, is doing that deep analysis and finding so much joy in it. Because when I was relating that dance fitness brain to improv, it was because of a feeling I had, this one thing happening, and it's very specific to improv. I don't need to get into it, but it felt the same way. My brain felt like it was, and I was like, why is that happening? So I got into like a 2-day focus on just ticking through the brain, like, what are the pattern? What are the similarities? Why did this happen? What is happening? And seeing those connections and stuff is just such a joy. And if you didn't analyze, if you didn't step back and think about these things and why did this work, you wouldn't have the understanding and growth that can come from that. So doing a variety of things is useful too, because you can start making those connections and figure out what works, and it can connect to marketing as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the important part there is analyzing it when it's working, not when it stops working or when things are not working. Because many times that's when people analyze and self-reflect, is when it's not working. But we should be doing it more while it's working.
Yes.
Because then we can do more what is working for us and how
Mhm.
we can function better.
Yes, yeah, and not be afraid to just make a change. Like, okay,
Yep.
that didn't work. I don't need to think about why that didn't work. Let's just try this new
Mhm.
thing, see if that does work, if this will
Mhm.
be a positive thing, and just look at what you haven't tried to fill it in. I had to do that with my fitness business because online marketing wasn't working at all, and I'd moved to a new, completely different geographic location in the middle of my teaching, and where I live now, which is semi-rural out on Vancouver Island. So online marketing wasn't working, but I figured
Mhm.
out, oh, why don't I just try? And I could have got in the weeds on that, trying to figure it out. But I'm like, okay, well, let's just try bulletin boards around town. And that worked. It worked perfectly. It was exactly what I needed. Would not have thought about that in the big city, but here everyone uses the bulletin boards at the grocery stores. So that was how I
Mhm.
went about my marketing from then on, and it worked. So
Yeah. I'm in a small town in central Alberta, so I completely feel that. There is
mm,
no big networking events. There is no like big things. People are just like posting on the local Facebook group
yeah,
or, on the bulletin boards. You gotta
yes,
check out the post office. You gotta like hit the local spots, and it changes how you market,
hmm,
especially in-person business.
yes,
You're
yeah,
not gonna run it the same way.
yeah, yeah. Oh, and getting in a local magazine, oh, then you're good.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Yeah.
reading that.
Exactly. You have to understand how your people are getting their news. And I think that's marketing in itself is you have to figure out where your people are. You
Yes,
know,
yeah,
if your people are not online, you can't market online?
exactly,
You
yeah.
know, if your people aren't on Instagram, then, are they on LinkedIn maybe? Or maybe they're just not. Maybe they're just on Pinterest. Like you have to
Mhm.
really nail down where your people are.
Yeah. And hopefully that place will actually work for you as well, because I tried Pinterest because that's where the people were, and I could not understand it at all. I just couldn't do it. So those are other challenges to get over.
Yes, yeah. I always find too that you can find people there and maybe help direct them to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just your email, so you email them instead and like contact them on the platform that you want to use.
Exactly. Yeah. The
You
way
know,
that the way that your brain works pretty much.
yeah, absolutely. And you know what? If their brain doesn't work like that, then maybe you're not going to be compatible anyways.
Yes, maybe you're in the wrong business altogether. That's happened to me as well. I'm like, you know what? I don't think I'm the
Mhm.
right personality for this particular business.
Yeah.
And that's fair, and it's fine to move on.
It is. And I think we have to understand is like, you have to accept that letting go. It's back to letting go and saying, no, I'm not a fit for that. And I need
Mhm.
to let it go and maybe burn that down. And we're going to start building this because it's better aligned with my brain.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So, where can we connect with you and find all your things?
Oh, sure. So I'm doing a lot of podcasts now, and so sort of the place where you could find everything that I'm working on is stereoforest.com. And if you are, I have an improv podcast to connect with the neurodivergent stuff, which we've been discussing a lot of, where I speak a lot about performance and neurodivergent brains. So if you are doing any performing, if you're doing any videos for your brand and your marketing, I'm getting into doing marketing videos, doing performance, doing speaking to camera, or audio on that. So Your Improv Brain is the podcast, and the newsletter is where I talk about the neurodivergence, and
Mhm.
that is on improvupdate.com. And I'm starting a new one that is not about improv. It's about more marketing and performance, which is going to be called the Human Internet Theory. And that will probably be out by the time this podcast is out. And that will be on stereoforce.com if anyone's interested in that.
Awesome.
YouTube videos.
Yes, I will have all the links in the show notes so you can go connect with her, find your corner of Jen's space that is going to connect with you, and make sure try numerous ones to see which one and let one go if it doesn't fit.
Yes.
So yeah.
People might not be into improv.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
A lot of people aren't.
It is a special, such a unique niche that you're either going to say yes to it or you're going to be like, I don't think it's
for me. It is such a small niche. But it's a fun one. It's a fun but small niche.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on today. I really enjoyed chatting with you.
Thank you, Amber. I really enjoyed it.